The last 4 years have gone by in a blur. It's been one of the most interesting times for human civilization. And the Indian, well, the diaspora, we've gone through a lot. It's been something that we never forget, very memorable experiences, some good, some bad, but we've all come out of it. And today we are here at the Taj Apollo Bandar talking to a very interesting person who's come into India 4 years ago, managed one of India's finest luxury brands and well, taken it through a very interesting journey. Welcome, Martin. Welcome to the OVERDRIVE show, and thank you for this evening with us.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me.
You've joined in 2018. That's when you started your journey in India. What was the experience been like the last 4 years for you?
Well, as everyone can imagine, nobody could have imagined what happens 4 years later. And if I look back, I have a feeling I accumulated experience for 10 years maybe of life. Yeah, so with so many things happening, from sales crashing somehow, even before a pandemic we had with the BS6 transition, everything got a little bit softer in the economy. Then we had the COVID situation and the pandemic. At the same time, all over, we were working on really on the future, on building Mercedes-Benz as a brand stronger for the future. And this is why also when I look back, I feel really quite satisfied, because we have achieved a lot. I mean, this year now we come out of the, say, pandemic situation, which I believe it will be the best year which we have ever had. So we'll be higher than 2018 numbers. We have created a strong footprint in our, say, in the e-commerce world. We have completely digitized our business in the marketing environment as well. A lot of digitization happened. We have worked on a strategy for electric vehicles 4 years ago when I came. That was not a topic at all in India. And for me personally, obviously the cherry on top of it is that implementation of Retail of the Future, our direct to customer sales model. So if I look into all these, say, hard fact topics and combine that with the difficult times of a pandemic, then I feel really satisfied that we could be where we are today.
What are some of the most memorable, moments that you would take forward with you when you're going on your, when you're going on to the next journey to Thailand? I'm sure one of them would probably be, bringing electrification of the whole electric mobility movement to India as well from Mercedes-Benz.
When I think at the peak of the COVID crisis, we were busy keeping our people safe. We were busy keeping our factories somehow protected or producing if possible. So we had a lot of operational problems on our hands. And at the same time, we were working on, say, our Retail of the Future. And it's basically one meeting, you do this, and the next you talk about what happens in 2-3 years. And I have a lot of learnings out of that, because it actually shows that in the moment of crisis, you have on the one hand to deal with the immediate crisis. On the other hand, if you're able, together with your team, to create a future and a hope, and focus at the same time on something where everyone felt a good purpose to do. And what goes hand in hand, the second learning, which is very trivial, stay connected all the time. Yeah, stay connected with your employees in this situation, of course, with your leadership, with your main stakeholders, which for us are, of course, to a large extent, our franchise partners. Stay connected, hear them out, work with them on the actual crisis, and at the same time, on the future. So if you ask me about learnings, a lot of that goes basically onto very simple things, which in the actual moment are maybe not always simple.
So Retail of the Future was one of the largest things that Mercedes-Benz has brought within the automotive industry, for that matter. A concept that never existed, a concept that a lot probably thought about, but never really were in a position to take forward. Mercedes-Benz came up with Retail of the Future, a direct-to-customer sales program. How has that worked for you? Because this also happened, like you mentioned, also happened at a very challenging time in Mercedes-Benz's, history. So what has that entire program been like for you on a personal front?
Yeah, I mean, it took us more or less 2 years to implement. It is very complicated, so to say, because on the one hand you have a consumer which has expectations, on the other hand you have around 10 to 15 IT systems which need to work together, And then you have we have 20 to 25 franchise partners who have not only to accept, adopt and promote the model, but also have all their people to be set up to on the one hand, develop with us the processes, and at the same time then to deploy them and do them. So that was a lot of work. But I can say now we're operating now a little bit over a year in the model, and I said at the beginning already, I'm quite satisfied. We have the model has proven in reality what we thought in theory it should deliver. And that's something you don't know at the beginning, because at the beginning, many people said, also many journalists, oh, that is against the Indian culture. There is an element of negotiation which has to happen in the showroom. And we said at that point in time, it should not be so difficult, because every customer gets the best possible price. Everyone gets a transparent price, and everyone has a clear visibility on the inventory that is actually available, no matter in which showroom or to what franchise partner they are going. And this theory has proven right. So the shift in the showroom is happening in a way which we thought it should happen.
Getting back to the state we are in today, 2022, and we're still markets growing. Was it something that you anticipated, you know, the kind of explosion that would happen suddenly, and it came out of nowhere, which is also has created a lot of setbacks, because globally demand has skyrocketed, the supply isn't really there, all sorts of challenges. Was this something that you were anticipating, or was this something, you know, just came out of the...
No, I don't think anyone could have anticipated, but I have to say we have had learnings. We saw how we came back in 2020. Yeah, so it became a V shape in 2020. Yeah, so we came relatively quickly back after the first wave, and even by festive season in 2020, you may remember, sales were already quite good again. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a surprise. But the second wave, which was much tougher, also, I mean, in terms of human toll, and also for how things literally crashed as well. We were already very confident that we will even be faster getting out of that, yeah, and it took 6 weeks maybe, yeah, and we were very strongly back. And I can remember that at the, say, it was around May 21 when we launched the GLS Maybach, for example, just after very severe, crisis, we were confident that people also want to get over it, yeah, and it's possible with product launches to support coming back into the market. The focus of our customers also wants to move on, go away from the drama, go back into business, and also to purchase. So in that sense, after the second wave, what happened then in mid 2021 was still very positive, but not unexpected anymore, because we had hoped that it will repeat and even better than in the year or in 2020. And I would say yes, it worked that way. What nobody could foresee at that situation is that we run into this global supply crunch. So that I would not have expected at all. And the third one, which is probably the most surprising, such a strong demand, even on specifically for us, for example, on our SUVs, GLS, GLE, huge demand, which was much higher global demand than the capacity of the actual production facilities, which caused backlogs which last until today. And these three effects, they would really they leave their mark in our numbers. We would have been able to sell significantly more cars last year already and this year, and these effects were not expected, and they were also not anticipated to last as long as they did and do.
I have one final question for you, Mark. It's the first time Mercedes-Benz is leaving charge of the company in Indian hands. It's something that we were hoping for a long time, from the media fraternity at least. It's been a wonderful experience with you as well. But now we're going to be seeing Santosh in that role, piloting the company forward as well. Are there any expectations that you have of him, or are you going to just leave him to his business and do his own thing?
No. I mean, I'm very happy that Santosh gets the opportunity to take over from me. I think he is exactly the right guy, so to say. I worked now 4 years with him very closely in different roles. He was working first in the customer service field and then moving on to the sales environment whilst I was there. And I have always seen him to be someone who is really, on the one hand, strategically extremely strong, on the other hand, very strong in delivery on operational topics with a very good understanding. And I personally think you know, Indian, German, whatever, that's not the reason. The question is who is the right guy for a job. And I just mentioned about what was achieved the last 4 years. That was done together with Santosh and the other colleagues in his team and the teams at Mercedes-Benz India. So in that sense, of course, I feel also there is a possibility that things are carried forward. Of course, there will be different focus, there will be different challenges, but I have the trust that he's not only the right guy, but he also continues working on the topics which were important to us, which were important to Mercedes-Benz India in the last couple of years. And in that sense, I really wish him good luck, and I'm sure he will be very successful with that.
Well, and with that, we wish you also all the best, Martin. You're headed off to Thailand. It's not too far a market away. Airfares are, of course, very, very affordable these days. And hopefully, we will catch up again very, very soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks.